Lauri Markkanen dominates again for Finland in Eurobasket. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. Okay, guys, if you're new here, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, most importantly, and watch to the end. It helps me out a lot, maybe the most. All right, guys, so Lauri Markkanen had another incredible performance tonight or earlier today, actually, for Finland. He was incredible. I have to say, one of the most frustrating things about Eurobasket is the fact that it's so hard to watch. I mean, you have to get a specific, it's called like courtside 8091 90210, whatever it's called, to watch it. And I personally am not going to pay to get that to watch like 3 games. And so I didn't watch the game. All I'm seeing is highlights and numbers, just to be honest up front. But Markkanen was incredible. I mean, if you go and just search, you can see it. The highlights are fantastic. He ends the game in 23 minutes with 43 points. Now, he's playing against Great Britain, so a little bit of a grain of salt there. It's not a particularly high-level competition, but man, does he look good. He is doing things that he wasn't really doing during his games with the Utah Jazz. For example, well, let's just talk about historically how good this was. For Markkanen, he actually broke his actual 3rd place spot, so he now holds the 3rd and 4th spot for most points in a Eurobasket game since 2001. Tonight, he got 3rd place with 43 points. That's behind Dirk Nowitzki with 43. In fact, he should be given the 2nd place spot because Nowitzki took 39 minutes to score 43 points. Markkanen did what he did tonight, beating his own score. He got 43 points in 23 minutes. So this is actually the 2nd place spot, should be above Nowitzki. Great name there, by the way. And who's the number 1? Luka Doncic, who scored 47. If Markkanen had been allowed to play more, he would have beat it. He played just 23 minutes. Why didn't Finland let him break the record? Crazy. But anyway, so they're actually going to play tomorrow. So maybe they were resting him because they've got to play Montenegro tomorrow. And my guess is he's going to play extremely well. Then they have some tougher opponents. I think they play Lithuania coming up. So should be really interesting. What does this mean for Lauri Markkanen? Well, one, it's an empirical fact that Markkanen did not play very well last year. Now, you could talk about conspiracy theories like, was he playing badly on purpose? Was he missing shots on purpose? Maybe, could be. I don't personally think so, but maybe. Was he just injured? Maybe. If he's scoring these points and he was playing through injury, I tend to believe that a little bit for certain stints. I know that Lauri Markkanen, any sort of light injury, the Jazz would rest him, but there were times watching him, and all of you hoops nerds out there watching the Jazz and watching Markkanen, and a lot of you guys were watching with me live, he looked a little stiff, like his back, he was not moving very fluid. He's looking much more fluid in this tournament. So it might be that he was just injured. And honestly, guys, sometimes when players go through slumps during the season, it almost always has some sort, I mean, not always, but it usually is a sign that someone's going through some sort of injury. Maybe like some sort of sore ankle, maybe they are recovering, maybe they've got some hamstring stuff that just does, they can have all sorts of nagging injuries, and that very well could have been what was happening last year. Like maybe him resting wasn't quite as much tanking as we thought. So that's one other explanation. The other was he just played poorly. The injury thing or the playing poorly thing, if he's doing this now in Eurobasket, it's a great sign that those aren't an issue anymore. The other teams, if they're trying to trade for Markkanen, they're having a lot of those questions answered by Eurobasket. And if Utah is just excited to have him play at a high level and feel like they have invested in a very good player, then Utah has to feel very good as well. You do not want to give $46 million to a player whose biggest skill is shoot three-pointers and they shoot at 34%. Not great, right? If you give, someone like Klay Thompson, who's known for his shooting in his prime, and you give him a big-time max contract and he comes out and shoots 34%, I can promise you a lot of Warriors fans would have been frustrated. Because Markkanen's on the Jazz, which gets a little less national attention, they get the hoops nerd attention, but no, not a lot of national attention. The media here is a lot more forgiving because they are all trying to be kind of in with the Jazz organization. It's not going to make a lot of headlines, but, on here we talk about things and we're honest, and it was bad. So this is nothing but a good sign. Whatever you want the Jazz to do this offseason, whether it's just, load up and build around Lauri Markkanen and build this team next year through him. If you are someone that wants to just go fully young and build through a youth movement and trade Markkanen for the best possible picks you can, also good. There are no downsides to this. The only downside to this, I guess, is if the Jazz don't find a trade partner or they do build around Lauri Markkanen, but they want to keep their top 8 pick. If he's playing this well, it's hard to lose games. And we do know, based off of what Austin Ainge says when he came on, they are going to play to win. They want to build that play-to-win culture, which I personally agree with. I just think you need to play to win with the right players playing. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, nice game for Lauri Markkanen, who is looking just extremely good. You can't help but feel good for him because last season had to be frustrating for a lot of reasons. So it'll be fun to watch. Guys, I am so excited for this upcoming NBA season. I mean, Lauri Markkanen, we know what he brings to the table, and if he does what he's doing in Eurobasket with the Jazz, Utah gets pretty interesting. I am just beyond excited to watch Ace Bailey. I cannot wait to see what he looks like, how many minutes he gets, does he start? You can just count on us talking about it here every day, every game. I can't wait. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you next time, probably tomorrow. We'll see.